A brief history of golf. Millions of people play golf every day around the world. Young and old, men and women, enjoy the game that traces its roots as far back as 100 BCE in Rome. Through the magic of television, live streaming on the internet and other forms of media, people today see the majestic beauty of Augusta National, the ancient links of the old course at St. Andrews, the splendor of Pebble Beach, or any one of the hundreds of courses on which today's professionals showcase their superhuman skills. Certainly, golf course design, technology, and the players have come a long way since the nascent years of the game. The following will examine some of the history behind the game of golf, specifically its development into what we know as golf today. The earliest form of golf can be traced to ancient Rome, where people played a game called Paganica around 100 BCE. Players hit a stuffed leather ball with a bent stick. During the Song dynasty, 960 CE to 1279 CE, in China, participants played Chuan, which was played with several clubs and a ball. A 1261 manuscript of Flemish poet Jacob van Maerlant referred to a game with a ball and club. The reference may have been to the Dutch game called Kalf or Kalf, during which four players hit balls over a certain distance, with the winner being the one who reached the starting point of one of the other players. Some Kalf or Kalf games lasted multiple days. However, the modern game of golf can trace its roots to Scotland. In a 1457 Act of the Scottish Parliament, the game of golf received its first mention. The act prohibited the game because King James II saw it as a distraction from archery practice, necessary for the defense of the country. Further mention of the game can be found in government documents in 1471 and 1491 banning the sport. By 1500, Scotland lifted all bans, and within a couple of years, King James IV purchased balls and clubs to play the game. At that time, balls were made of wood or hard leather, while clubs were made of wood, mostly beech, holly, pear, and apple. In 1724, various documents referenced balls stuffed with feathers. Royalty provided the impetus for the spread of golf in Europe. Mary, Queen of Scots, began playing golf in 1552. Later, while studying in France, Mary introduced a sport there. Interestingly, the term caddie comes from her French military aides, referred to as cadets. King Charles I introduced a sport to England in the 17th century. While playing a round of golf at Leith in Scotland in 1641, he learned of the beginning of the Irish Rebellion, which marked the beginning of the English Civil War. Unperturbed, Charles finished his round. The Honourable Company of Edinburgh Golfers, HCEG, established the first rules of golf in 1744. 20 years later, the old course at St. Andrews reduced its total holes from 22 to 18, establishing the format for today's game. By 1826, hickory, imported from the United States, became the wood of choice for club shafts in Great Britain. About 20 years later, the gutta percha ball became the ball of choice. The ball makers placed strips of gutta percha, dried sap from a sapodilla tree, in boiling water, then molded the ball by hand before submerging in cold water to harden it. The first British Open Championship was played at Prestwick in 1860. The Royal Liverpool Golf Club established a British Amateur Championship in 1885. Hoylake hosted the first tournament. Montreal established a first permanent golf club in North America in 1873, Canada's Royal Montreal Club, while in 1894, the United States Golf Association, USGA, was formed in New York with 5 charter members: St. Andrews Golf Club of Yonkers, New York, Newport, Rhode Island, Golf Club, Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Southampton, New York, the Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts, and the Chicago Golf Club in Wheaton, Illinois. A year later, the Newport Country Club hosted the first United States Amateur Championship and United States Open. The USGA maintains the official rules of golf for the United States and Mexico. By 1900, persimmon became the wood of choice for club heads, while aluminum became a popular alternative. Groove-faced irons, which promote increased backspin, entered the market 2 years later. Around the same time, the rubber-cored Haskell ball joined the list of new equipment. This ball revolutionized golf because it traveled farther than the gutta percha ball and cost much less to manufacture. Golf enthusiasm and participation soared to new heights. By 1910, 267 clubs claimed USGA membership. In 1916, the Professional Golfers Association (PGA) was formed, and the first PGA Championship took place at Suwannee Country Club in New York. 5 years later, the British team won the first Ryder Cup at Gleneagles in Scotland. However, the United States team won the first Walker Cup in 1922 at Golf Links of America in Southampton, New York. Golf technology continued to evolve, and the royal and ancient, the recognized stewards of the rules of golf everywhere except the United States and Mexico, accepted steel-shafted golf clubs for the first time in 1929. The next year, Bobby Jones became the only person to achieve the Grand Slam of golf, with victories in the United States Amateur, the British Amateur, the United States Open, and the British Open. Not long afterward, Jones was instrumental in designing Augusta National Golf Club, where the first Masters took place in 1934. In 1939, the Royal and Ancient indoctrinated the 14-club rule to promote individual skill and to prevent golfers from using an inordinate amount of clubs. Women shared the golf spotlight with the men beginning in 1932, when the United States team defeated the team of Great Britain and Ireland in the Curtis Cup at the Wentworth Club in Surrey, England. The United States Women's Open was staged for the first time in 1946 at Spokane Country Club in Washington, and 4 years later the Ladies Professional Golfers Association (LPGA) was formed. Since 1952, the Royal and Ancient and the USGA have worked together to produce a common set of rules for golfers worldwide called the Rules of Golf. The rules are revised every 4 years. More equipment changes followed World War II. Influenced by research in synthetic and composite materials, golf club manufacturing changed. In 1963, the casting method for manufacturing club heads was introduced. This new technology lowered the costs of golf clubs, which led to increased participation in the sport. Graphite shafts hit the market in 1973, which were lighter and stronger than steel shafts. TaylorMade introduced the first metal woods in 1979. Callaway owns the honor of the best-selling golf club in history, the Big Bertha, which hit the market for the first time in 1991. Golf has a long and rich history. The game may have its roots as far back as ancient Rome and China. Certainly, the game as we know it today can be traced to Scotland in the 15th century. As technology changed over the years and equipment costs fell, more and more people began to play the game. Arguably, it is the one sport that people can truly enjoy well into their later years in life. Play the game once, and you will probably be hooked. Just remember to yell for after an errant shot.